Hi, I'm Mayor Jay Tiptree, and welcome to this edition of Chandler Inside Now. Today I will be interviewing our two brand new council members on the Chandler City Council, Councilmember Mark Stewart and Councilmember Sam Wong. Thank both of you for being here today. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
We're going to spend a little time over the next half hour letting the audience get a little bit more familiar with both of you as you begin your public service career in Chandler. And I think we'll start with you, Mark, and maybe a little bit about your background for the audience.
Sure.
And your family and that kind of thing, just to get them familiar with you.
Well, that's an easy question. I know all the answers. Allie and I moved here. My wife's name's Allison, and we have two kids, Cole and Quinn, and they both go to Perry. But we moved here about 16 years ago from the Midwest, and absolutely fell in love with Chandler. Our plan was originally to be here for just a few months, and then for a few years, and then we decided pretty quickly that we loved it, and we started to grow roots and made friends, and family started visiting here, and they loved it too, and we decided that we were staying put. Chandler was just an amazing town at that time, and it still is. It's just grown tremendously, and we love it. But my background professionally, I've been in consumer goods for nearly my entire career. I started started working in grocery stores when I was young, similar to Bash's, and from there I just grew and became was a national account manager for Shell Lubricants. I handled our military accounts and some other things like that, but it's kind of in my blood, and now I help inventors that make widgets and things like that launch products into the marketplace. So
help them get a patent and stuff like
things
that?
Like that, yeah. Help them brand, sometimes help them get it actually made. So it's a lot of fun, and it's pretty rewarding to watch something come to life like that. So
where'd you come from?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, yeah, Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest. Went to school in Springfield, Missouri at Missouri State University, the home of the Bears.
Yes.
So I still have an affinity to them, and of course ASU. But yeah.
So what started out as maybe weren't going to be out here for more than a few years, 16 years later, you're a member of Chandler City Council.
Yeah, I love it, and it's a wonderful town. It reminds me a lot of where I grew up, which was a suburb of St. Louis, Missouri, St. Charles, and the friendliness. The fact that it's going from an agricultural community to more of a business community, it's very similar.
Interesting.
So enjoy it.
So Sam, what about you? What a little bit about your background, where you're from, family, that kind of thing?
Mine is a little bit complicated, I guess. I was born and raised in Taiwan. I came to the United States when I was 30 years old. That was in 1993. I came here as a graduate student, and so I planned only to stay 2 years. But then we have kids. My wife and we have kids. My wife also want to go to school, so we end up stay here longer than we planned it. And we went to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and then in Buffalo, New York for 12 years. And then go to Chicago for another 2 years.
Yes.
And in Chicago, we got our American citizenship in Chicago. That was in 2006. And so my wife and I, we were discussing where should we settle down. Now we are Americans. We need to love this country. We need to know this country more, and where we want to locate ourselves. And so we were looking, and I chose Dallas, not Chandler. My wife chose Phoenix. So you see, you always want to listen to your wife. Okay.
I'm glad she won.
Yeah, thank you. So we come to Phoenix, but which city should I go to? So we search on the internet, and I found Chandler have the most libraries. Okay, so we come to Chandler, and we rent a house. Then 1 year later, 3 houses away, the owner want to sell their house. So we say, okay, let's buy the house. So we settle down. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
and your wife is a doctor or an eye doctor?
She was a dentist in China, but she cannot practice here. So after we get a green card and become so after we get a green card, then she can apply for dental school. So she received her DDS. Actually, she was top in her class.
Yeah. She's smart.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
so,
I'm glad she
we
won.
work very hard, and so For me, basically, I take care of kids. I went to school, and I finally got my PhD in education. So, education is still my passion.
Yes, thank you. And very interesting background. It's interesting too. You both have a Missouri connection.
Yeah, I think we knew that, but it kind of was lost on me. But we do. I actually lived in Kansas City for a little while myself.
Oh. So let's go back to you, Mark. I want to talk a little bit about the politics of everything. What led you to run for the council? Because you both are, you both have different backgrounds and have different decisions that led you to run. But Mark, because you were brand new on the scene when you started running for city council.
Well, there's two reasons that I got involved. One is I recognize that in a lot of ways, as we know from just living through the presidential election that we just did, that our two parties tend to polarize our communities. And I recognize that city council was a nonpartisan election, speaking purely about the politics of it. And it was really a way to get involved and speak about what's important as it relates to politics, government that touches your life every day, which is local government. And you don't have to necessarily pick a team. You can have ideology and you can have your belief about the way government should be run or the way government should maybe not be involved in our lives. And I figured that, I knew that city council was the most effective way for me to sort of, one, convey the message, but two, to serve the community.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately what we're called to do when we move into public service. You've been a great example of that, of being involved with the community. It has nothing to do with these two polarizing, play to the base kind of businesses. And that's okay because they both have their place, and I respect both of the parties for that. And then, the other reason, well, I think I just answered, both of those reasons in the same answer there. It's just, to serve.
Was there a defining moment? Because, all of a sudden I remember meeting with Mark Stewart and said, hey, I'm going to run for council. You made the rounds with the council. Did something happen, or did somebody say, hey, Mark, you should run for council? Or did you just say, hey, I'm running for council?
Yeah, somebody did say that.
Okay.
I think, I started to connect with politics about it's always been a hobby to follow it. Right. But then I started to kind of get involved about 5 or 6 years ago. And really try to understand who the movers and shakers were as it relates to politics in the community. And then I was asked, hey, have you ever thought about it? And that's absolutely not. No way I do. What I do is more behind the scenes kind of stuff. But then a few more people started, saying, hey, you ought to think about it.
Right.
And then I did an exploratory from about January through February of meeting with anybody that would take a meeting with me, excuse me, to sort of get their feedback and to see if it was a viable opportunity. And then I knew with my background in marketing and branding and my business background, I knew that it was something that if I got involved, I could probably do an adequate job, or at least make a showing. And then because of who I am, when I got into it, then I felt obligated to the people that had either volunteered or had donated money, and a lot of that was from folks in the neighborhoods and friends and family. And so it was just go as hard as I could to try to earn that support that they gave me. And so we were fortunate enough to get through.
Right.
But yeah, I'm delighted to be here.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. So Sam, your path was a little different. You ran a couple times before, so why don't you talk to the audience about the election part, running before, and what made you decide? You even have some background on one of our boards and commissions.
I have been interested in politics since I was little, but I got discouraged all the time. But they said politics is not a fun thing, it's dirty, it's something like that. I'm saying if politics is really dirty, then I should be in politics, because I kind of believe myself. I strongly believe myself. I'm a kind person. I will do good things for the people, and so then we should have somebody similar to me to be in politics.
Right.
And also in my learning process, I have always been taught, if you are poor, take care of yourself. Don't become a burden of the society. But when you have more education or when you have more money or when you are on your feet, then try to help the community, try to help the others. So I think, okay, so this kind of concept has been in my mind all the time since I was little. And so I choose two fields. One is education. I think as a teacher, as an educator, you can help a lot of people. And the second one would be politics. Of course, the bar is a little bit higher. You got to get elected. You need to have some people recognize, okay, you are patient to serve. So in 2012, I told my wife, hey, I think it's time for me to run for office. And my wife was laughing, oh, you are not serious. but eventually I did run. And first I went to the Taiwanese community, the Chinese community, and they say, so Sam, why do you think you can win? I say, I just show myself and tell the people I really want to serve, and I just keep doing it. And then sooner or later, people will realize, hey, this guy is serious, and this guy, we want to give him a try. So I did it, and of course, I failed. So the second time, more people told me, Sam, I think you should try again. So I say yes. So I tried.
2014.
That was 2014. Yes, yes, 2014. So I tried again, and well, the other three won. So congratulations. So I said, okay, maybe I can learn from the process, and then so this time. It was a long process to decide if I want to run for the third time or not, because we do have a lot of discussion on the family, saying if that really worth it. I really spend a lot of time and energy. If I can use this time to do business or to do something else, probably more profitable. Yeah. So but I say I'm already 54 years old. I really want to do something. I want to leave a legend. I will try my best to do everything I can. And so, yeah.
You ran, and
So
you won in the primary.
Yes.
You and Councilmember Ellen both got elected in the primary, and you were a very strong vote getter. So three's a charm. And somebody else on the council followed that same path. I know it's probably not the most comfortable path because you have to run twice and then the third time. But Councilmember Rowe, I think, got elected on his third run a couple of years ago. So maybe that's something you guys are creating, run three times, although Mark kind of broke the mold there, got elected his first time through. But that's a path of, you had a lot of perseverance and tenacity and a lot of ambition to do that. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So Mark, while you were out campaigning, I hear you were encouraged. You kind of had this passion. You were involved on the periphery with politics. As you were out campaigning, what were some of the things you learned about the community of Chandler that kind of struck you?
I think the most interesting thing, and maybe I'm still in the mindset of politics, is I realized that many of us, almost all of us, really have the same common goals or the same beliefs in what we expect from our servants in politics, or the people that are serving the city in either city council or whatever it may be. And we're all looking for the opportunity to live a good life, to raise our kids in a safe community, and honestly, and the honesty was the biggest piece of it, is that people were proud of our city because of the politics and the way that our city's been run for so many years. And that's really what was remarkable to me, is how proud of our community most Chandleridians were. And so that was actually, I don't want to say it was intimidating at first, because you're trying to live up to, there's some big shoes to fill here with Councilman Sellers and Councilman Human. And I understood that as I was campaigning, and I never tried to go beyond what I knew my scope and scale would be. But I will try, moving forward. But keep it short and sweet. The community really is proud of Chandler, and the people are just super nice and helpful. Everybody's looking for a way to give back to the city,
Right.
it seemed like. And so we have a lot of opportunities for that. So
Yes.
a lot of the people I'll be following up with as we move into the new
Yeah.
year to help out. Yeah.
Good. I'm going to reintroduce the show. I'm Mayor Jay Chipshraney. You're watching Chandler Inside Now today. In studio with our two newest council members, Sam Wong and Mark Stewart. Again, thank both of you for being here today. So Sam, even though you had been on the campaign trail in 2012, again in 2014, decided 2016, and you've been on one of our boards, you've also been on Museum Advisory Board, but what were you learning as you made the rounds out in the community? What did your constituents tell you?
I think, generally speaking, the people of Chandler are pretty happy with our city. Generally speaking, we are a safe city, and we are doing quite well during the economic downturn. Although our population kind of become pretty stable, we are not grow rapidly in recent years. But in general speaking, people are happy, and this is what I learned. But I do think we probably can do something more on the north part, and also in the west Chandler, it's kind of, in a good term, it's stable, but in a negative way, it's not moving forward too much. So I just think in one of the interview of the press, I told the reporter, what I see during the campaign could be very different with what I think as a councilman. So I will try to understand both things and do a comparison. And of course, I would like to learn from the mayor, from all other council members, and because when you have power to cast a vote, you got to be very careful.
Absolutely.
What would be the result of this vote? And I understand every vote will please somebody and will be angry with somebody. So I just tell myself, Sam, whatever decision you are going to make, you just need to know, you need to be able to ask yourself, do you think you really do the right thing or not? So,
yeah, thank you for that. Very conscientious. So you guys got elected, like I say, Sam, you got elected in the primary in August, and Mark, you went to the runoff and got elected in November. So what kind of things did you do to prepare for taking office on January 8th, actually? How did you prepare? And I know there were some orientations, and hopefully those were helpful to you, but any other things you did to prepare? I know our staff's very proactive with our council members.
Well, that's the first thing I was going to say was the orientation, the 2 days that we spent here in orientation to understand each one of the departments of the city and how in tune with what was going on in the city all of the departments are, and all the directors of each of the divisions or the departments of the community of Chandler are. But what I really gained from that was I feel like Chandler is being run somewhat like a business, in that people are very conscientious about the money that's spent, about the budgets that are put forward, and they're treating the money like it's a stockholder's, like there's dividends to be paid out. But there's a customer first attitude, and that everything's for the community. And if you hear it from one or two departments, you're like, okay, they've got they're both in sync. But when you hear it department head after department head after department head, then you know it's part of the culture. And so that was really refreshing. Another thing that I'm doing right now is really studying the Arizona State Constitution, understand how the city fits within the state. Because I'm a big believer that, as I said earlier, the government that's closest to you should have the most influence in your life. And so we want to have the ability to, I don't want to say exercise city sovereignty because that sounds kind of strong, but we want to be able to make some decisions on our own as long as they don't, just period. We just want to be able to make some decisions on our own as a city without the state, stepping on our necks and
Right.
telling us, but yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
That's something we work on a constant basis.
And the League of Cities event that I went to, was phenomenal. And
That's
so,
good to hear.
I know you're the president of that, but so I'm not just saying that, but that training was incredible to be with all the newly elected officials from around the state and to get the background. And Sam and I sat next to one another through the whole thing and compared notes, and it was an incredible event. And so,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. Sorry if I stole all your thunder.
Yeah,
With all that good stuff.
So Sam, a little bit about preparing for the office that you just got sworn into. Both the city preparing you and also, the League of Arizona Cities. I was able to greet both of you at that orientation where in Mesa, we brought newly elected council members and mayors from all over the state. We had like 130 people register for that, and you guys were both there. So any thoughts on preparing for the office?
First of all, I need to make a confess. Okay, I needed a break. So after 3 times of campaigning, so I did went to Taiwan to visit my parents because they are aging, and I know they are expecting me to come back to see them. So and at the same time, I did give myself a good time. So and.
That's a good thing, Sam, that you went and visited your parents. Good for you.
I did do some preparation. I made sure I meet a few of our department heads and meet the city manager before I left, and also made a few appointments with them to understand how our city was operating. And of course, we have 2 days or 1.5 day orientation in November. I made sure I came back before that. And of course, another 1.5 days training on the leash. So I do also meet a few. I think I met every councilman or the whole council. So try to build a connection and relationship. So I will always know if I have questions, who should I talk to.
Good.
The other council members have been very upfront, not to dovetail, but if almost they call me. If you have questions, reach out. There's a legacy that's been left there as well, and so I think they want to make sure that the torch gets passed and continues to carry on down the race, down the track, and so they've been really open about being available to me, and I'm sure to you as well.
Sure.
It's been good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. We have a good group of people. And Sam, I know you were talking about your trip back to Taiwan to meet with your parents, which is a good thing, but you're very humble because even at that trip, you met a Chandler delegation that was in Taiwan at the same time and conducted some official city duties as you worked. You met Vice Mayor Sellers over there. So I want to thank you for that dedication because that was about a 3-hour commute from wherever in Taiwan you were to meet up with our Chandler delegation. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I stayed 2 days in Tainan, and so I met Vice Mayor Jack Chandler, and I actually also met the a minister of Taiwan. He was responsible for the overseas Taiwanese. So we did made this connection, and he was very pleased. And wish if I can build more relationship internationally, not just Taiwan. And so probably we can promote Chandler more. Yeah. So
good. So what do you guys see? I'm going to go to you first on this one. Some of the challenges you might see over the next few years that you can see facing Chandler.
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows we're almost at build out. So, those impact fees that we collect as part of our general fund they'll dry up, but I think we'll find other opportunities to create, I hate to use the term income, but we have city services that we need to provide. We have some of the best fire and police around. And so we've got to make sure that we plan for that. But I also think, I like to think of challenges as opportunities. I may have even said this, way back early on in the campaign, is that, our opportunity as a city is to really start bragging about who we are.
Right.
And we already do that, but I mean, really start tooting our horn and talk about, being an innovation city, innovation capital, if you will.
Innovation and technology hub of the Southwest.
Absolutely, which is a great tagline. But I think, it's something that we want our community to start saying. Hey, where are you from? Chandler, Arizona, the innovation and technology hub of the Southwest. And, I don't know that I'm starting to say that more and more, and I'm starting to believe it more and more. But I think as we get a little farther down the road, we can start doing that. And that'll help us sort of stand out from the crowd as it relates to other cities in Arizona or other cities in the Southwest for that matter. We're competing with Utah, we're competing with New Mexico, we're competing with Colorado. And so to be attractive, not only in Arizona, but be attractive in Chandler, we've got we have the best schools in the state. We need to tell people about that. We have a low tax base. We need to tell people about that even more than we do. We have great amenities. We need to tell people. We have a park every square mile, it seems like. And so those things we can start bragging about, and I think that makes us more attractive, and we can hopefully bring in even more, great employers and keep unemployment low.
Well, Sam, I'm going to ask you a little different question.
Sure.
Any advice you would give in the future for people that might be interested in running for the Chandler City Council?
Well,
Because you certainly have a lot of experience with that. So if somebody comes to you in a couple of years and say, what advice do you have for me? I'm thinking of running for Chandler Council.
of course, the first question is why you want to run for an office. Right? I think this is the first question every people want to ask for a politician, for people who want to run. Do you want the fame, or you want the money, or you want to serve, and why you want to serve, and on what area you want to focus? What is your your talent or knowledge? Do you have an open mind? You want to learn from people? So I would tell whoever who want to run, you want the fame, what's good for you. I think become famous is not necessarily a good thing, because you really lose a lot of freedom when you become famous. And how about money? I don't think you can make any money. If you have that kind of mindset, you will get into trouble.
Right.
You will be removed from office, or you will be put into jail. Okay, so don't do that. And then, okay, you really want to serve. Okay, that's good. Then we can start a dialogue. We can start a dialogue. Okay. And then, are you willing to learn? Are you going to have an open mind? Are you willing to work with other people? And if they all say yes, then yeah, go for it. Try the best. Try every means of you. Try to win.
Yeah.
And also, don't be shy, because you need to tell the people who you are so they can choose you. If they don't know you, they cannot choose you. So I think Mark is very good on this.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, we've kind of reached the end of this segment. I appreciate both of you being here today. I look forward to working with both of you, and I'll help you in any way that I can to make you a better public servant for the citizens of Chandler. I'm excited about working with both of you. And so I think we're going to have a great 2 years, at least the next 2 years. We kind of do 2-year increments at the council level. So looking forward to that, and I think it's very good. I appreciate all your comments and sharing your views with our public today, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Mayor Jay Tibshraeny. You've been watching Chandler Inside Now with our 2 newest council members, Mark Stewart and Sam Wong. Until I see you again, take care and be safe.